Okay, it's problem number 134 in chapter 5. Similar to the last one, this is a pretty involved and intense problem here. A lot of stuff going on in terms of how we're going to set this up and solve it. We can use some right triangle stuff, we could use the law of cosines, we can use the law of sines, a lot of different ways we can do this. So the first thing we're asked to do is find PR. So there's a couple different ways we could do this. The first way is to use this triangle, PQR, right, and use the law of cosines. So I'm going to set that up, and let's see how we can go about doing that. The other way would be to use right triangles, so we'll turn this into a right triangle and go from there. Maybe it's easier to use right triangles, but it's going to be more intensive because we're going to have a couple right triangles to deal with. So I'm going to use the law of cosines in this situation, kind of just jump to the right answer. So I'm going to call this x, since that's what we're trying to find, PR. So x squared equals 8 squared plus 7 squared minus 2 times 8 times 7 times the cosine of 70 degrees. And so that is going to be the value of x squared. So let's start to break this down here. 8 squared is 64, 7 squared is 49, and then we have 2 times 8 times 7 times the cosine of 70. So let's see what that is. So the cosine of 70 is that times 8 times 7 times 2. So minus 38.31, we'll say. Okay, so let's add all that stuff together. So 64 plus 49 minus 38.31, 74.69. So x squared equals 74.69. We have to take the square root of that to get what x is, and so taking the square root of that, we get 8.64. So that's our answer to part 1 there. Find PR. PR equals 8.64. Okay. Then it says find the perimeter of this quadrilateral. So to find the perimeter of quadrilateral, we need to find this value, which is y, which happens to be the same as this value over here, because SPR is equal, isosceles triangle, so SP is the same as SR. So if we can find one side, we have the other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to redraw triangle SPR down here as this equilateral triangle. Why do I call it equilateral? It's isosceles. Isosceles triangle. And we know that the altitude of an isosceles triangle cuts it in half. This is why what we're trying to find, we know this is 35 degrees. This entire length here, we just found that was 8.64. So half of that is going to be 4.32. So we can use right triangle trig to find y. Our angle is 35. This is the adjacent side, and y is the hypotenuse. Adjacent and hypotenuse means we're going to use cosine. So the cosine of 35 equals 4.32, the adjacent, divided by the hypotenuse, y, which means y equals 4.32 divided by the cosine of 35. So let's figure out what that is. So we have 4.32 divided by parentheses, and we want the cosine of 35, close parentheses, so 5.27. Okay, so if this piece is 5.27, that means this piece is 5.27, so our perimeter then becomes 5.27 plus 5.27 plus another 8 plus another 7 for a total of 25.54 centimeters. Okay, so that's our total perimeter there. We use the law of cosines to find the third side of that non-right triangle, and then we use the idea of an isosceles triangle cut into two equal right triangles to use some trig to find the hypotenuse of the right triangle, which ended up being the side length of the isosceles triangle that we needed. And then there's just two of those plus the 8%. So again, pretty complicated problem, pretty involved, using basically everything we know about triangles and stuff so far. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them.